everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so all of the products that I use you can purchase from Stampin' Up! Through me at the address at the top of the screen, and it's also below. I just wanted to show my host code for so far in April is right here, MSMYA3GB. And if you're spending less than $150, you can put that on your order. There's a little spot, I think it's in checkout, that says host code. Okay, so today my project is a scalloped box that opens like this, and here I just have some post-it notes. But it is 4.5 this way by 4 this way by 1 1/4. If that gives you an idea of what you can put in there. I used one of the new stamp sets bundles, and it's Happiness Abounds stamp set and Blossoming Happiness dies. And this here is what I made the background out of. Okay, and I also got this set because I love this is a stitched die here, and then like the notebook edge die. So I really wanted to have these, and I love roses, are my favorite flower, along with daisies. But so these you get 10% off if you buy them as a bundle. I also wanted to mention that till the end of May, if you sign up to be on my team, either just for the offer as a hobby demonstrator or for a business, just this month for $99 you get you pick $125 worth of products, and they give you an extra $64.50, I believe, and that is 5 of the new in color 5 colors ink pads, an assorted pack of cardstock, and some 6x6 DSP. You get a box of catalogs and 1 paper pumpkin kit, which is an older kit usually, just to show you what it's all about. So if you wanted to join my team, I have a link below, but on my homepage, there's a button that says join, and you can just go through that. You go through the agreements and everything, and then it'll bring you right to adding everything to your cart that you pick out, and it will automatically include the extra in-color inks, the new ink colors, so you don't have to add that in. Okay, so for today's project, we need 2 pieces of Flirty Flamingo, because I did the box in 2 separate pieces, so that we didn't have to go through putting the whole thing to get the scallops on the top. So we need 1 piece that is 9 1/4 by 7, and for the top part, 1 piece that is 4.5 by 3. Okay, we need some basic white for stamping. This is the piece that I cut with the die. Nope, wrong ones. This die here, and what I did is I laid it down once, and then I twisted it and laid it again the other way to just pick up some more. Actually, it was this way. I laid it down once and then I went up. Okay. And this die, if you notice, not all of the pieces come out. It's not as bad as you look, but if you use your roller, it's fine. I actually just picked them out with this end of my take your pick tool. But only some of them, if you can see, come out. The other ones are still attached at the bottom. This one I might have missed. Yeah, that one I missed. But the one next to it, it's attached at the bottom, so those are not meant to come out. All right, so it makes it very interesting. You could even pop them up for like a 3D. If you can see it on the project, I just love it because it gives you a little bit more interest behind. All right, so we need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 3.5, and then you're going to cut it twice with the die. Okay, and then we need 2 pieces of Flowering Fields DSP. We're using the Mossy Meadow and I think Old Olive Side or Pear Bazaars that are 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And that's it. Okay, so let me get my Simply Scored. I'll get rid of this for now. Okay, we'll do the large piece first. Okay, we're going to start on the 9 1/4 side, and we're going to score at 4 and at 5 1/4. And we're going to switch it to the 7-inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/4 and 5 3/4. Okay, and that's it for that piece. And then we're going to bring in the little piece that is 4 1/2 by 3. We're only going to be scoring the 3-inch side at 1 1/2. Okay. Now I'm just going to be folding and burnishing. Alright, so for the small piece, I already have one done. Here we go. And this is what it's going to look like when you're done. Alright, and what I did was with the scallop edge from the Scalloped Contours dies, I just cut, let me put it on here. I made sure that I had 3 scallops in the middle and then let the edges even out. And I put it as low as I could, and I taped it with some low tack tape, put it through, turned it around, and did the same thing. They don't really have to be exactly even because one's on the front, one's on the back. You won't really notice that. Alrighty, and this is what you come out with. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to come to this piece, and this is what we're going to do. All we're going to do is cut the sides of the rectangle straight and wedge the sides of the squares. Alright, so we have a 1 1/4 inch strip at the top and at the bottom, and they're symmetrical on each side. So we'll go to the edge of the first rectangle and cut it straight to the first score line. Go to the other side of the square, cut it straight to the first score line, and then we're going to wedge each side of the square. Oops. Okay, turn it 180 and do the same thing. Cut side of the rectangle straight to the first score line, skip the square, and cut this side up to the first score line, and then wedge each side of the square. Now, if you don't need to have the scallop, you can just make this a rectangle and fold it, and that can be your top if you want. You can even make it a different color cardstock if you don't want it the same. And this is what your 2 pieces of cardstock should look like after you've scored it and cut it. And then this one, we cut both sides with the Scalloped Contour die. Now I'm going to get my liquid glue. I'm going to put some on both of these tabs. And I'm going to pick one side, and the top score line of the tab is going to go straight with the side of the rectangle. And these you have to hold a little bit because I'm using liquid glue. This side and do the same thing. Just make sure you're attaching it to the same side. Okay, and then we're going to put glue on the inside of the 2 rectangles that are still unattached. Okay. And we're going to attach, make sure that it's the easiest way to do it is make sure that you attach the bottom and the back straight with the rectangle that's still attached. That's already attached, I mean. And do that on both sides. Okay, and that's the basic part of your box. All right, now before we put our top on the box, we're going to put our one piece of the DSP onto the back, and the back is where the seam is on the back, where you put those rectangles over to. Okay, so I'm going to put one of the pieces of the DSP Flowering Fields that is 4.5 by 3 3/4 on the back. Okay. Okay, and then I want you to run your fingers down the sides of the box just to get it ready kind of to fold. And then you're going to push in the middle and then squeeze the sides. And it will go, you can, if you don't want it to go all the way down, which it will tend to do if there's nothing in here, you can put whatever you intend to put in the boxes. And if you're making a bunch, you only have to have one. And that will help the box go to the size you want on the sides. And if some of your DSP or the cardstock comes open at the edge, because I didn't get it all the way there, I'm just going to put a little extra glue. And then I'm just going to hold it a minute. Okay, now this is our back. What we're going to do is we're going to glue only the back piece to the back. Now this side's coming up. I do like using tear and tape just because I can put it right to the edge, but since this is such a big piece, I want to glue on all of it. Okay, so this is our back again, and we're going to put glue not all the way up to that score line. I'd say at least 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch down. Okay, and then we're going to put it on. Squeeze your box closed and then just make sure it's nice and even, and just make sure it wants to stay on there for a minute. And then this one, I didn't put a piece on the back. I should have, but it was a work in progress, so I think it looks pretty. You can see the scallop on the back too. Okay, now we have to work on our front panel before we can do anything else. And I have to decide, because I could have run a piece of the die one more time right here, but I think it'll be pretty with a little bit. Like on this one here, there was a little extra, so I just added some Rhinestone Basic Jewels. No, Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. All right, so let's see. Maybe I'll have to do it on this side for this one. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. All right, and we're going to take our glue and make sure you get the corners, but any part here that you can get a little glue on that is solid. We don't want to go on the holes, of course. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on all the solid areas, and I'm going to try to get up on the edges here because that will kind of pop up. Okay. And I'm just going to put it on our other piece of DSP. That is, and I forgot to say again, this piece of basic white that we cut is 4 by 3 1/2. And all of this will be on my blog, which is also linked below. Okay, and then I cut it, and then I put it on top of the piece of Flowering Fields DSP that is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Right? Okay, now we're going to attach it to the front of our box. Okay. All right, and let's just let this dry a little bit. Okay, so now we need our Stampin' Pierce mat because it's photopolymer stamp set, and our basic white, and we're going to be stamping the 2 roses and two each of the 2-leaved one and one of the multi-leaved. All right. Okay, so I'm going to use Tuxedo Black Ink, and I'm going to do the 2 roses. Nope, not that one again. Okay, and then I'm going to do one of the multi-leaved leaf and 2 of the one that has 2 of the larger leaves on it. Okay. Let me just cut this down now. Okay. All right. And let's start with the leaves. And I'm going to be using blends. And I'm using light and dark Mossy Meadow and light and dark Granny Apple Green. So let's start with the Granny Apple Green, which I'm doing the multi in. And what I want you to do is just go over, I'm doing it on the right side of each leaf. Well, it'll be the right side over here and then the left on this one. And I'm just going to put one line of the dark on the bottom side of each leaf. Okay. And then I'm going to take the light Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to pull it out. Maybe you do a little bits of circles and it will blend it in each leaf. Alright, and now we'll do these 2 leaves. And these are light and dark Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to use the dark first. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a line of the dark on the right side of both. Oops. And then I'm just going to blend them with the light one. Okay. And since a child, I have not been able to color in the lines very well. I guess I have shaky hands. I'm just going to take the color lifter and just go over that one piece I went over. And it'll blend that out. Okay. So that's the darker leaves. Alright, now the roses. They're not as hard as you might think. I'm going to start with the dark. And I'm going to go to the middle, and most of this middle is going to be dark because it hasn't opened up yet, all right? And then I'm just going to do the inside edges of all of where they overlap now with the dark. Some of it I have to do the whole thing because it's kind of tiny. Alright, oh, I could do a little bit in here too. Alright, and then I'm just going to blend it out with the light Flirty Flamingo. Alright, and I went off the edge over here too. It might not show because it might not come out with the die cut. Okay, and I'm just going to do the other rows the same. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to cut the two leaves. This one is that, and this is these two. And the roses are this outer one and this outer one here. And I'll be right back. Okay, and this is all our pieces. All right, so now what we're going to do is, since this is dried a little bit, I'm going to take some adhesive Velcro dots. These are 3/8 inch. And I'm going to put, on this one I only put 2, but I'm thinking maybe I should have put 1 here too. So I'm going to put 3. You don't have to, you can put 2. I always overkill. So I'm going to put 1 in this bump here, 1 in the middle bump, and 1 on this side. Okay, and then I'll put the other ones on top with the adhesive facing out. Okay, now to help me out, I'm going to use the Post-it notes, and I'm going to make sure, I'm going to squeeze it, and I'm going to make sure that it's nice and even. Everything's where it wants to be. I'm just going to rub on this front. I'm going to gently, it might need a little help on this one here. Ooh, I did this one far over. Okay. And then this, and then this one. Okay, and then just give it a nice push on that, and then that is your closure. I think it looks so pretty. Okay, and remember these are 3/8 inch. They usually have these in the sewing section of any craft stores. Okay. All right, now we're going to put our box together with some dimensionals first. And how I did this is I had this one that has kind of the point on it on this side. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals. And I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and then I'm going to put dimensionals on the next rows. I'm going to put this one up and facing the other way, and just a bit up. Okay, now we need some liquid glue for the leaves. And first I'll put this sleeve right about in here. That way, okay. I'm going to put it about right here. Oops. Okay. And then one of these is going to come out from underneath this rose, this petal here. I'm going to aim it down this way, and then the last one is going to be right here, aiming the other way, total that way. You might have to lift up your scallop a little bit. Oops, goodness gracious. See, these are raised up and then the leaves are behind. Alrighty. Now we need to do our sentiment, and I forgot to have that piece ready. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to say you needed another piece of basic white. Let me write this down. That is 3 inches by 1/2 inch for the sentiment. And we're going to put, well, you can pick any one you wanted, but I picked Friend, which is kind of small. If you want to pick any of these, you're going to have to change the shape of your strip. Alrighty. Okay. So we need our Tuxedo Black Ink again, and the Friend. And what I want you to do is just put it right in the middle of the strip, both ways. Okay. All right, and on this one, I cut a hole and tied it on with baker's twine, but with this one, I might want to just attach it. All right, so at the end, you're going to cut about a 1/4 inch line right in the middle. And then go to the corner and slant cut it up to that point in the middle. Excuse my nails, some of them are bad because I was planting. My husband, for my birthday 2 weeks ago, he bought me a raised planter, so we were planting some things. It's so fun. All right, before we attach this, we have to do our bow, and we're going to use some of the glittered organdy ribbon. But first, we need a small hole punch, and this is, I think it's 4 1/2. So 2 1/4 would be the middle. So if you want to take a pencil, I just eyeball the whole thing, but at 2 1/4, I'm just going to put around where I'm going to put right in the middle. I'm going to put a mark at 2 1/4 right here. Okay, it's a little high, but we can erase it. All right, and then a certain amount, maybe 1/2 inch or so from each side, I'm going to punch a hole. And I'm just going to try to erase. I don't think we'll see it because of the bow. Okay, so there we have our bow, our holes for the bow. All right, and then I'm going to take the ribbon. I'm going to put it down through the right side. Okay, there you go. I'm just gonna, and this goes right to about right there. Okay, now these are gonna stick out today because just the way the ribbon is round. All right, now what I want to do to the top is I'm just gonna, well, let's see how far. I'm gonna cut about 1/8 of an inch off, and then I'm just going to I'm going to just diagonal the edges a little bit. Okay. So I just left a flat spot on the top. All right. And you could punch a hole, and then like I did with this, just wind baker's twine around. But I already put a glue dot on here just to keep it out of the way so it looked pretty. But I think for this one, I'm just going to stick it right under the knot with a glue dot, and then a glue dot right in front of the F too. So I'm going to put a glue dot right at the top. I'm going to get another glue dot. I'm going to put it right by the F because I don't want it to, right before it, which is right about right here, because I don't want it to attach underneath the scallop. All right, and I forgot to tell you to just kind of bend the ends so it looks pretty. Then you want it to tuck it in under the knot, but you don't want it to cover any of the roses. So just put it where you want it and then push down on the glue dots. I also think I'm going to put a glue dot on the bow. And they don't have to open the bow. They can just use the Velcro dots and it's opened. Here we go. Okay. All right, now for the final touch, I'm going to get some Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And because I think on this one it had the empty space on the right, but this one has it on the left, so I think that's where I'm going to put the big one. I'm going to put one in a bit right here, and then a medium one kind of out there. And then, where did I put the other one? I put the other one up, like, oh, it was out here, but since the tie is on that side, I'll put the small one right there. All right, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, this is my host code right now. If you have any questions, my email is below, and all the measurements are on my blog, and all the things I did, I write it out over there for you. If you want to join as a demonstrator or a hobby demonstrator, the link is below also, and that's a great offer. It comes to, I think it is $191.50 of products for $99, free shipping. So I would have done that if that was available when I did it. I definitely would have done that one. Okay, I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.